Hello everybody, I'm Hey What Rube. Welcome to a brand new channel and a brand new Sims 2 Let's Play series. As you can see from the little neighbourhood intro video we're getting here, this is going to be of Strangetown. It's my personal favourite neighbourhood. I've played it for many years, got very far with it, but this is a new setup. We're going to have some new storylines, see what goes down with it. So this is actually going to be quite a short video, this one. This is just going to be a little introduction to how my Strangetown is set up and how I play things and what I'm hoping to show you with this Let's Play. So this is actually, I had to recreate this. This was not exactly how the game loaded, because I have had to install cameras and take cameras out, etc, but I've tried to put it back to more or less the view that you would get when you first load into Strangetown. If I scroll out for a little bit though, and just go into a tab view, what you can see here, you've got all the residents already here, including the beakers and the spectres. And in this house I've already put in the singles ladies, and in this one we have AJ Loner. Now I am playing a clean template of Strangetown. What I'll probably do is put a link to things like clean neighbourhood downloads and mods that I use in the description. Not that I'm saying everybody should play with them and play exactly my way, but then if you did want to replicate things that you see, you've got the tools to do it with. Zoom back on. And Strangetown's quite easy in this sense, it's just fully zoomed in. I don't have to worry about how far back in the back we are. So in addition to Strangetown itself, we also have La Fiesta Tech. Which again, I've tried to recreate it, and what I've done is I've placed in the 3 student room dormies who were in the sim bin. So we've got the student house in there, very imaginative names, Stella Torano and the Davis twins. And in addition we have the sorority, the fraternity, the band and the rich guy. So I, as you can tell from the accents, am English. So the way in which university goes down is not exactly how I remember my days there. We don't really have sororities, fraternities. But I look forward to playing with them. I'm not honestly sure yet what I'm going to do with the students. I don't think we're going to play them initially. I think what I'll do is wait until they become relevant to the storylines, and then we can go back into them and bring them into the neighbourhood rotation as logic dictates. Because right now they're kind of linked with each other. Well, actually they're very linked with each other, but they're not really linked at all to the main neighbourhood, so they can just stay here for a little while. I don't have a downtown. I could have a downtown, but I don't know. I kind of think of Strangetown as being very far away from anywhere. They're not going to be popping to the city. Similarly, I've never seen the point of shopping districts. I do, however, have all 3 of the pre-made holiday destinations. And it's fine by me that they're always the same in each neighbourhood. You know, I live in England. Some people watching this will be living in America or Germany or New Zealand, but we can all go to the same places on holiday. And I kind of think of that as the same for Simland. So there's Turkey Island. Takamizu Village. I hope I'm not making a complete butchering of that pronunciation. I'm aware it's not a real word as such, but it was probably meant to be pronounced in a particular way to emulate the Far Eastern culture. and Three Lakes, which is probably my personal favourite of them. It's the sort of thing that I do. I once saw somebody that made a really clever restructuring of Three Lakes, and it was like a hiking trail, and as you progress through it, I thought that was amazing. I have nowhere near enough patience or building skill to do that. Not even close. So I just keep everything pretty much as it is. You'll see me decorate empty houses, and that is about it. I might do the occasional remodel. We don't really need to watch the little fly flew again. So when it comes to weather, I tend to do 2 summers and 2 winters for Strangetown. If anyone's actually been in a desert, you will know it is not hot all the time. I have played around sometimes with spring, summer, autumn. But I like the contrast between 2 summers and 2 winters. The same isn't true for La Fiesta Tech. I cheat in La Fiesta Tech a little bit because I use a mod to shorten university length. I don't want them to be able to gain skills quicker, so I take advantage of the... No, I've clicked the wrong one. I've clicked the holidays destinations. There we go. I take advantage of the fact that autumn gives you faster skill building, so every single one is autumn. If I did have a downtown, I generally put all the downtowns as spring. I haven't actually messed around at all with the seasons in the holiday destinations. So, oh, I've done it again. I've clicked on holiday destination again. So, Tricky Island is all summer. So that's probably somewhere Caribbean-like, if we picture that. Oh, and now when I wanted to click on holiday destinations, I didn't. Wonderful, very professional showing. Takamizu Village is 2 springs and 2 autumns, which I think is quite nice, quite a moderate climate, not the extremes of hot and cold. And Three Lakes is 2 autumns and 2 winters. I don't know that I personally agree with it, let me tell you from experience, mountains get very, very warm sometimes. But I'm going to stick with it. So if we head back into Strangetown a bit, I'll just explain a little bit of how I play. I do play rotationally, and what I do is I do 1 season per rotation. It's just easier for me to keep track of it rather than having to think about, okay, we started this on a Monday and they wanted to rate up 7 days, so we'll need to end it on blah, blah, blah. I'm generally playing to keep the general gist of ages together. I'm not heartbroken if eventually one of them ends up a day or 2 younger than they're meant to, as long as they don't end up old enough to be their own grandfather. So we've been playing through all of the households in the main neighbourhood. As I said, I'm probably not going to bring in the university students over in La Fiesta Tech quite yet. I also like to play fairly once-based, although I will be a bit liberal with it sometime. There are some wants that I treat as, I call them bilateral wants. So, wants to get married, wants to have a baby, wants to woohoo. You have to have both sims potentially involved, interested in achieving those wants. The same does not apply for engagements. I don't see any reason why a sim can't propose, even though it's only them that wants it. That's perfectly fine by me. Is there much else to explain about before we get into playing? There are other things I have, little gameplay rules. I don't play with too many. I find that makes my own life a little bit dull. So I don't have a particularly good system for choosing aspirations. I just do what feels right. Oh yes, ACR, Autonomous Casual Romance. I do have that installed. when I first installed it a little while ago, I was a little bit dubious, but I do very much like it. I try not to force things too much for my Sims. And sometimes there's an element of overlord involvement that is needed, but I try to let them get on with their own lives a little bit. There are a couple of events that I particularly like to happen. There's 2 events that I will save and reload for. Hang on, no, actually there's probably 3. 3 events that I will save and reload for, and they'll become apparent as we play. And then other things like, for example, private school. I only let A+ students go to private school. So that's kind of a little introduction to how I play, and now let's have a little introduction to Strangetown itself. So, an aspiration for knowledge has attracted a diversity of truth seekers to this small community along the road to nowhere. That's this road you see here. Most of the houses and lots of Strangetown are along this road. Can they learn to accept their neighbours? I'm going to go in and edit that. Give me one moment. Can they learn to accept their neighbours with AU? Or will their differences clash and spell ruin for their town? And are the reports of a Belagoth sighting fact or fiction? In Strangetown, nothing is what it seems. So, as players of The Sims 2 will know, Strangetown is one of the neighbourhoods that's shipped with the game. And it's, I think, played less than Pleasant View. I personally never really got into Pleasant View. I used it as a bit like my sandbox. I didn't go too attached to any of the characters that I found there. Not in the same way I did my Strangetown Sims. But it is closely linked in there with the apparition of Belagoth being seen around the neighbourhood. Sometimes she becomes relevant, sometimes she doesn't. We'll see how it goes. Now, there is out there something called the Prima Guide, which has a suggested play order for the families, and they suggest we start with the Curious Brothers. However, what I think I'll do is I think I'll give every household in the rotation their own story, their own video. So I'm going to call that a day for this video, more or less. But next time when we come back, we'll be playing the Curious Brothers and actually getting to see some gameplay. Hope to see you then, folks.